What do you think the hardest part in Cali? What was that for you?
My hardest moment. Look, I will tell you that at the moment, some of the hardest moments, I didn't think they were hard. And I'm going to tell you what it is, but I want to make sure to set that off. At a very young age, I saw somebody get their head blown off, like standing 2 feet in front of me,
Wow.
right? And at the moment, I didn't even appreciate how scary that was, right? Like now, I think about it, but I wasn't even traumatized. I was like, oh shit, that's it, right? I saw people, I saw people get shot in the leg. I would help one of my cousins like clean his wound. The bullet went through his leg. That was like normal, right? It wasn't normal. I didn't know it wasn't normal. How do you? I don't know how to say
Yeah,
that.
like you were around it so much that it didn't seem like
It
there
didn't
was
happen all the
something
time.
else. Like there was another world.
It didn't happen all the time, but people talked about it like it was normal. That I didn't know how to react. You get
Right.
me? Like I see this in movies, and they're like, "Oh, I'm traumatized," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Right.
it's not a big deal, right?"
Right.
I lost countless relatives every year. It wasn't like people lose a relative every 10 years. I was like, no, like every single year somebody's dying. I have a huge family though.
Yeah.
So when I was there, the biggest challenges was my family. My family didn't have an expectation of like who I was gonna be that much, like that young. It was more like, look, you got to pick up girls, right? Like my family's very good looking. I consider myself the worst looking person in that family, and I had to step up my game,
Yeah.
and so I did. And then the second part was my parents being divorced and having to battle between both of them.
When did they divorce?
Very young age, I think I was like 6 years old.
Is that why your mom tried to come back?
No, they had already so when they were separating, had this thing that they would like basically my mom would come to the U.S. They lived in one house, but they would not be in the same time at the same place.
All right.
But then when she moved, I don't know exactly when she moved out after a time on her own. Then she decided yeah, we moved with my aunt, and then she decided to try New York with a boyfriend or something she had or whatever, and that's it. I mean, we went back, and then I went to Colombia till I was like 12 years old.
Okay. So now you leave the United States, you go to Colombia, you have to like acclimate to Colombia, you learn Spanish. Now you're in. You're hanging
I
out with
learned it.
everybody. You know the priests, you know the clergymen, you know all the soccer players, all the drug dealers, like all
No.
the teachers, like it's that kind of neighborhood, right?
And I got more for that. Like, the school would let me to school to do parties. I was cool with the school owners. Like, they loved me. So I'm like, oh, when you're gonna raise some money, and I'm in elementary school, and I'm throwing parties, minitecas, that's what we called them, and they wouldn't trust nobody else to do that, and they would trust me. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, oh, we'll do it. And then we're like, I have my family bring their equipment and whatever. I got my uncle a job as a coach at the school for 1 year. Like it was like you were connected. Like I could have lived my whole life there and been fine, right?
Yeah. You think you would have been better staying there
No,
than you are today?
I know I wouldn't have. I chose. So the reason we came to the U.S. was because I kept telling my father that as I was thinking about what I was going to do as an adult, I was seeing my aunt who was very successful and other people, and I asked them questions like, "How much you make? What do you do? Whatever." And I'm like, dude, there's no growth in Colombia. You're gonna get to a certain point. That's all you're gonna be.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't accept that. Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I'm like, no, I want more.
And this is at 12 years old.
This is like right before 12.
So now you're 12. You come back to the United States. What was that culture shock like?
So it was cool because I came just for a summer. I have a lot of cousins, so we came just to have fun,
Okay.
And we came for the summer, and then at the end of the summer, my mom, my aunts, my tia Gloria, and my father, I guess, talked about me staying because I always said, I'm like, I don't see my future in Colombia. Like, I want to be here. And the day I was flying out, they told me, no, drop your bags. You're not going anywhere. And I was like, what?
Huh.
And like very last minute, I had to enroll in the school and things like that. The culture shock didn't come that summer. It came when I went to school.
Okay. Because in the summer, you're with your cousins.
Your cousin
you're hanging
vacation,
out,
yeah.
You're having a good time. You're on vacation mode.
Yeah.
And then, but all of a sudden now it's like real life kicks in. Now you got to do like the school day and everything else. And
Yeah. That was number one. Even though people spoke Spanish, they wouldn't talk to you in Spanish.
right.
Right. Everybody spoke to me in English.
So how was your English? Because,
So my English accent was really good, but I didn't speak it as fast.
okay,
Well, I did speak fast because I naturally speak very fast.
right.
My accent was good. I just didn't know all the words, the lingo, the current
Okay.
like
The current talk of,
of the streets
yeah,
or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And growing up in Colombia, we knew a lot about like salsa, maybe reggaeton back in the day before it was really popular.
Before it was popular.
But we didn't know. My cousins were like very into hip hop, Biggie, and stuff like that.
right,
So
right, right.
I kind of took like a crash course on that. And then a lot of friends that my cousins had that I met were the same. They liked the same music. They were the same things. But the biggest thing is my insecurities, right? I walked into a school. Obviously, as a kid, I saw pretty girls. I saw all these things. And I was this kid looking very, I want to say the word reffy.
Yeah.
Like, I had one pair of sneakers that was okay.
Yeah, you just didn't fit into the
I didn't fit into like that. But I was always really good at making friends. So I made friends with my cousin's friends, and I made some of my own friends. And in the classes, I made friends with people that had their similar last name because they were citizen row.
Yeah.
And I figured it out, but that was very scary at first. And I felt very insecure about like what I wore. And then in my mind, all these kids have big houses and I was living in somebody's garage, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was the poor kid, and you know, like that's how I thought that first year.
Was there an advantage to being back in the United States? Like, would you say, like, something that you picked up right away that you said, okay, like, listen, I get it. You know, I'm not fitting in quite yet, but I see the advantage.
So, as far as what I told you, that I saw that was like the ceiling was too low in
Right,
Colombia.
right.
The moment I got here, I was like, dude, this is like unlimited. You know, like there's so much space for me to grow, right? So yes, I felt that. When I got to the school, as far as an advantage from what I learned in Colombia, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Once I got over my initial insecurities, which was very quick, it was like after the first 30 days.
Okay.
Again, in Colombia, you're more mature. Adults they'll treat you like an adult if you act like it. So I was always banking on that. Second thing is, even though I was always fat, I was very athletic. I was into sports, but I was just naturally good at running, bike, whatever. So I leveraged all of that to be able to make friends, get more popular, and connect with more people, right? And same thing, I wasn't scared of talking to girls, which at that age,
Most kids are.
most kids were still kind of like, oh, I'm not even thinking about it. And I was like, well, you like her? Let's go talk to her. I'll put you on, you know? But look, I rode a bike every single day of my life when I was in Colombia. And I would drive from one city to another. Like, we went far.
Yeah.
So when I was riding bike here, I could have somebody on my handlebars, and I drive as fast as everybody else. So that allowed me to fit in, even though I didn't have my own bike. I'm like, oh, I'll take my cousin, I'll take him there, and I'll still be able to hang out with everybody else, right? Playing basketball, these kids over here are huge. So
Yeah.
being like the little Hispanic kids, whatever, I would play against everybody and, you know, put my body into it. And then I would make friends because they would be like, oh, that was a good one or whatever. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just kind of piggybacked on that and just...
Okay. At 14 years old, because, you know, I'm listening to you say that you were ahead on life because you had the way that you were treated in Colombia and the lessons that you learned and the things you paid attention to pushed you ahead in life. But academically was a little bit of a different story. So, like, who are you at 14 years old? What do you think that you knew at 14 that other kids didn't know? I don't want to say kids today because I feel like kids today don't know anything, right? But like that's just an inside thing for me. But back then, 14-year-olds were different than they are today. So at that time, when you looked at your peers, as you also said, I made friends with older kids,
Yeah.
right? And there's a reason behind that. When you looked at your peers at 14 years old, what did you feel that you knew that they didn't know? What was your biggest advantage?
I think that my biggest advantage was that I didn't care about the stupid things they cared about. Like, I cared about different things. So, like, at 14, I was already working. I was doing, like finding little jobs. Like I would go do moving with my father. I would do little things to kind of get it. Like I wanted a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I can't like just get it because my father's rich. So I'm like, how do I get a car, right? So the way I asked for a car was, hey, what do we work out to get a car, father, right? Like that was the conversation. And yes, I did get the car. My father did give it to me. But I think it's also in the way that you negotiate and you ask for things, right? Second thing was people, and I don't know if this is still the case, but people are always use this word like, I don't care, right? Like you're always saying I don't care, but you really do care. So a lot of kids would get caught and use the I don't care thing, doing stupid things. And I was thinking differently. I'm like, why even get caught in the first place? You know?
Yeah.
Or why even do it in the first place? So I was already thinking about things like that. When kids are still weren't thinking the same way, right? I did make friends with older people, and they got me into more trouble, things that I was just learning in, right?
They're taking you into the unknowns.
Into the unknown. So
Yeah.
at 14, I was going to these Colombian clubs. I was partying already,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't even ID me because I looked a little bit older, and I would go with a bunch of girls, like my sister's friends and things like that. And then at the same time, I learned about going to the Mix, which was like another like after hours club, and I was like 14, 15 years old. Like, what kids is doing that? You know, like
Yeah.
God forbid my kids hear this and they're like, oh, well, you know, like
Yeah,
it was a different world, right?
And they will use it against you.
Yeah. But it was like another world. Like I remember, okay, walking into Celebration, the Colombian place, that was different. That was okay because at least it was adults. But it was outside. You got to the parking lot and there was like, you know, people fighting. It was dangerous, you know, and it was like in Okeechobee, it was far as hell.
Yeah.
But going into the Mix was like walking into a movie set, smoky, loudspeakers, house music, people doing all sorts of crazy things, right?
Drugs are heavily involved.
Drugs are heavily involved. And I'm 14. I was turning 15, but I wasn't 15 yet. And the funny thing is I saw two other kids from my school too, and that's why I make friends with them. I'm like, I know who you are.
I know
and
you.
And we became friends, right? But those are things
You don't rat on me, I won't rat on you.
yeah, those are things that I'm like, dude, think about it. Like, you're 14 and you're going to these places and you're getting into spaces you shouldn't even be in.
Yeah.
That opened up my doors a lot. I still do business with a lot of people that I met, club
that
promoting
time
and
frame,
things like
that's
that.
so
Like,
wild.
so it's just different. Like, I didn't care about the things during the day. Like, we went to school and they talked about these little other things that I didn't care. Like, I still don't, I'm sorry, I don't watch sports on a regular basis. Like, all those little things that everybody was distracted on a regular basis, I wasn't. I was there. I was present. Yo, you want to play football? We'll play football. But I wasn't like, oh, we got to watch football on Sunday. I was already like, oh, no, how are we going to the next club? And then I had to go get some money and, you know, father, what can I do? And then I would go clean the school. I was cleaning the school. I was a janitor too, like
Trying to get money.
trying to get money.
Why was that important to you at that time?
Because if I wanted to live a life with my older friends, I had to be able to afford to pay my
To
own
hang
thing,
out.
you know?
Yeah.
We had another thing that happened that I guess kind of pushes in that way. My mom came back in the picture. So when I moved here with my aunt, it was just me and my aunt. My father left his life in Colombia to come support me and moved in with me, and we moved into the garage. But then my mom decides she wants to come also over here, and I kind of chose to go with my mom. And then she chose to go to New York, and then I stayed with just me and my sister.
Hey everyone, David Adam Kurz here. And if you're watching this, I want to thank you for being a part of Forged into Man. You know, a lot of people that watch this show aren't subscribed yet, and your support truly matters. When you subscribe, like, and share these conversations, it helps us bring more powerful stories to the table, create more episodes, and keep the movement going. So if this conversation has impacted you, hit that subscribe button. It helps us more than you know.